Once you understand a little bit more about certification authorities and how they play a part in securing your network infrastructure, it's time now to discuss or look at how to design a CA hierarchy. And for the most part, it's pretty straightforward here. When you design a CA hierarchy, you will follow these steps. First, you will install a root CA. And the root CA is going to be the only certification authority on this first level. So there's going to be a root, and this root, it's going to exist on its own level of your certification authority hierarchy. Now, just as a side note, you can have that root CA provide all of the certificates, all of the additional certificates for your network. In other words, you don't really have to design a hierarchy. You can design a hierarchy of one certification authority server, but if you're designing, typically what we think of a hierarchy as parent-child relationships, and again, it starts with this root level CA. On the second level of the CA hierarchy, then you have subordinate CAs, and you can have as many levels of subordinate CAs as you want to. But the root certification authority issues its certification authority certificates to subordinate CAs. So the root issues digital certificates that identify further CAs in the hierarchy as certification authorities, and that's really the root's main function. It establishes and then hands out the certificates to other CA servers that say, yes, this is indeed a server from which you can be issued a digital certificate. From there, subordinate CAs can be added to the hierarchy in third level and even fourth level type of hierarchies, and subordinate CAs in the second level can issue certification authority certificates to any CAs that exist on the third level, for example. So to show you kind of an ideal, I've gotten out the Paint program here and given you a little schematic here. So the root CA would be established by installing a Server 2003 or a Windows 2000 server computer, and this one can be either a domain controller or a standalone server, but you would install certificate services on this server. From there, then, you have a series of intermediate CAs. This CA would either issue a certificate to itself or get a certificate from a third party. The root then issues CAs to any intermediary, and that INT stands for intermediary or second level certification authorities, which have CA certificates as well, CA certificates. And then possibly then on a third level of a hierarchy, you then might have issuing certification authority servers. So you might have different servers here to implement, say you have a specialized server for user certificates, you have another specialized server for IPsec types of certificates, as I try to scribble with my mouse, but you get the idea that you may implement a hierarchy to divide up the labor of the servers of issuing certificates. But as with many things, keep in mind that there is no right or wrong way to implement a certification hierarchy. The answer is always depends. Now, as you implement your CA hierarchies, then, keep in mind that when you design them, they're going to fall into generally one of a couple different types of CA hierarchies. And those hierarchies can be either geographical, organizational, or trusted hierarchies. A geographical hierarchy is fairly self-explanatory. You design the CA hierarchy based on the geography of the organizations in your infrastructure. So imagine here, if we go back to the diagram, that maybe this was company headquarters in, say, a nice place like Kansas City, and then you had other subordinate CAs that were based on where you had branch offices from your headquarters. So if you had a branch office in St. Louis, for example, then the people or the organizations in St. Louis, you had other branch offices of St. Louis who reported to St. Louis. You might have Columbia or something like that. This would be designing based on geography. Another way is organizational, where you design your CA and it really conforms pretty tightly to your organizational chart, or at least your IT organizational chart. And here again, imagine if you had a root CA, which would be the company, and then these intermediary CAs would be departmental based, sales, finance, marketing, and so on. The last kind of CA hierarchy that you can implement is what's known as a trusted hierarchy, and this extends trust links to other CA hierarchies. And here we're actually going to spend some more time discussing in more detail what a trusted hierarchy is and what it might look like. So just keep in mind for this module here is that you have essentially three types of hierarchies when you design certificate services or certification authorities: geographical designs, organizational designs, and or trusted designs.